Hi lovely, and welcome to the Witch's Cookery. In today's video I want to share some secrets with you on how to become a most powerful witch. And no, this video is not about learning fancy rituals and spells or doing gory or really ancient practices in the witchcraft realm. It's in fact much easier and at the same time harder than that. But let's take it from the top. Little disclaimer though, this video is based on my own views, beliefs, philosophy, so take the things that resonate with you and discard the rest. Close your ears, go la la la. It's not a gospel, it's just food for thoughts. Think for yourself, find your own truth, everyone is entitled to theirs. And while usually my videos live from aesthetic B-rolls and yummy baking and nature walks, this one is gonna be a bit different. We're just gonna chill here with my plants. You're sitting next to this gorgeous fiddle leaf, grab yourself a drink, or pop in some headphones, clean that nasty inside of your fridge, or take me on a walk with you, treat it as a podcast. We're also joined by Mr. Pimply McPimple, but trying to not give him too much screen time here today. How to be a powerful witch. For me personally, being a witch or practicing witchcraft, first and foremost, never meant believing, practicing, or doing anything supernatural, but in the very opposite, sharpening, practicing, and getting in touch with your natural skills and abilities, and sharpening them until they become an actual tool, actually become powerful. I always considered some parts of witchcraft as the craft of the wise, the practice of someone very in tune with themselves and with their surroundings, who knows how to use and shape their power within to influence what's happening on the outside. Speaking of outside influences, the sun is messing with my light settings. So yeah, I am a powerful witch, but now I cannot influence the weather. Hex hex! Or can I? So what does being powerful mean in that context? I believe when one practices witchcraft, does ritual or spell work with a purpose, one does so because one desires to alter or shift one's reality inside or outside in a certain way to a certain purpose. So either intrinsically, so in your mind and your views and your personal behavior, how you feel about yourself, or what happens outside you, speaking about manifesting something in your life, making something happen. Does that make sense? I think it does. Powerful is of course a word that suggests a certain range or scale and is probably on the higher end of that said scale. And here I want to put it a small reminder. Everyone that practices witchcraft does that not as a competition, but does it for their own benefit because it gives them something, joy, pleasure, the feeling of being empowered, whatever it might be, connection. So comparing your witch skills to someone else and being like, I'm more powerful than you, or that person is more powerful than me, doesn't add anything, and is also not the purpose of this entire video. It's about your personal, subjective experience that you can actually, with your practice, feel more empowered, feel more in control, feel like you can actually achieve great things for yourself or for others if you want to do that. That is now through manifesting your dreams, finding meaning in traditions and rituals, filling your house with hygge cottage witchcraft. So again, powerful in this title here means you trust in your abilities and know how to use them effectively. And by that definition, you are a powerful witch. And should you not feel like a powerful witch yet, good news, there are actually some skills that you can learn, that you can sharpen, that you have in you, but might need to bring out a little bit more in order to step into that power and into that feeling. They can all be linked and practiced through common witchcraft practices. However, you can absolutely also do that if you are a muggle. It's beneficial for everyone. So let's get right into the 7 natural skills that you can hone in order to feel like a powerful witch. Numero uno, strengthen your intuition. I wish I wrote those things down so they make sense. You see that I have a new phone case. Don't have that rose pink, half ripped apart piece of cardboard anymore. Your intuition is your inner voice, your gut feeling, your sixth sense. And even though that sounds all very magical and supernatural, in reality it really is not. There is a lot of scientific, psychological research behind the why we have intuition, what it is, how it develops. And the good news is I made a really in-depth video on a topic that I will link you up above that also has 1,000 golden tips on really how to sharpen, practice your intuition, what to look out for, when to be careful not to trust that gut feeling, and why it's so good. But let's summarize it here. A short introduction. So your intuition can often jump in, helping you figure out if something feels right for you, if something feels dangerous to you, if something feels like a good decision to take. And it can feel really magical to receive this unexplainable information from within. Being highly intuitive is linked to having better relationships with the people around you. It's linked to having more life happiness based on the choices you make for yourself. And when we look into witchcraft, it means knowing what is right for you. Picking spellwork and ritual intuitively in order to further something in your life that should be in the focus at that precise moment. So some people call it maybe divine timing or spotting the opportune moment. And this is especially important when it comes to decision taking, when we talk about manifesting. Maybe walking away from something that looks good on paper and instead following your heart, following your gut to achieve bigger, better, more fulfilling things in life. How can you strengthen your intuition? Some ideas taken from my other video would be dream journaling to tap into your subconscious and your inner voice and worries, practicing making small, not so important decision from your gut in order to build that self-confidence to be able to also do it when it comes to bigger, more life-altering decisions. And of course, doing intuitive tarot meanings, going away from what the little booklet tells you a certain card means and just focusing on what feelings come up in you when you look at that picture on the card, when you look at that word on the card, and applying this knowledge to your own situations. Skill number 2, find your joy and flavor in magic or magical practices that you connect to. First of all, how do we find that? Think about what you enjoy, what gives you me time, what makes you fulfilled and happy and excited, or feel calm and safe and cozy. The things that you feel like doing that come naturally to you. Things that connect you to your inner child, that for a moment rip you out of your mundane struggles and worries and open this portal to magic, to inner joy, wonder and freedom and happiness. And then you might want to find magic ways to practice or view those hobbies, infusing them with certain intention, with purpose, practicing them mindfully. We'll get to that in a second. And see if you can find something interesting there that works for you. You can make your very own flavor type of magic. You don't have to follow suggestions in books. You can get creative, get wild. It's a practice for you, so you can shape it however you want to shape it. And why is it so important and adds to that empowered, powerful feeling? Well, because it makes it much more likely that you actually practice the things, that you do the things because you enjoy them, because it's not another chore. It's something that you look forward to, that already fills you with that purpose and with that great energy. And now if you do it with a added level of like meaning and purpose, that gives you a really good day-to-day tool to achieve the desired shift in your mood, in your reality, in your manifestation process, whatever it might be that you are working on with your witchcraft practice. And that said, all our witchcraft practices look very different anyway. One way of working magic is not more powerful than the other one. What is more powerful than other ways of working magic is to work the way you really enjoy, that you really connect to, over other ones that you kind of find like not adding a lot of meaning to you just because they're considered popular or they're considered specifically gory or old or complicated. Personally, I do work with very, very simple things. Cooking, baking with intention, nature meditations, crafting, not many ingredients, not many very complicated rituals. A lot of times they're only done with pen and paper, maybe a candle if I'm feeling fancy. And that works best for me and makes me feel super empowered or powerful because it comes natural to me. Now, other people might want to work with a lot of correspondences. They really enjoy to get into the nitty-gritty of like how things are kind of like correlating with each other, and they will have a great time, for example, implementing astrology or like the lunar phases in their practice and put a lot of meaning in that, or like really enjoy working with different colors and the cultural meaning behind that. Some feel very powerful when they connect to the beliefs and traditions of their ancestors in folk witchcraft, in rituals that they hold, in times that they set aside for that specific practice. Again, the real power is in finding what fits you best. And number 3, master manifestation. As I said, when we practice witchcraft, we do so oftentimes to create or manifest something. Manifesting basically just means making happen. Having a vision in your head, and then that becomes a reality. And the first step in this entire process of manifesting is to actually understand how it works. Because I see a lot of videos, a lot of TikToks flying around of people talking about manifestation, but they only talk about a very, very small part of manifestation, or like even like a middle part of manifestation, without the before, without that. There's a lot of emphasis put on new moon rituals or spell jars or crystals, all great tools by themselves, but not as the only tools. It's a process that for a big part happens in your head, but also has to happen in your hands. Figuratively speaking. Any witchy tools here can be helpers and a sparkly magic power in between the steps. But if you want to be a witch that actually has their spell work and rituals work, you have to dig into the process, into that journey and what it looks like. And if you don't walk the entire walk, if you don't walk the entire way, you will never get from point A to point B. Point A is being the vision, the idea that is in your head, your wish that is in your head that you wanna make happen. And first of all, we should be very clear on our intention. What is it that I want? Sometimes that vision is not quite clear. We know kind of like the direction that we wanna go to, and oftentimes our intuition that we talked about before can guide us on this journey really well. The clearer your visual is, usually the easier it is. And don't be thrown off if it changes throughout the journey as you learn more information, as you grow as a person, or as life happens. Then you have to have a look at what needs to happen, what skill needs to be practiced, what steps do I have to go to actually get there, achieve that, what people do I have to involve, what obstacles I have to get out of the way. Is that vision really in sync with how I live my life, how I see myself, with my values? And then last but not least, you actually have to also do the things. And it can always be enhanced with spell work and ritual and all of that, but spell work and ritual cannot replace that. And when you start manifesting small or big things in your life, again, your confidence grows, your confidence in your skills, in your visions, in the things that you just know in yourself that you want to achieve. And that again makes you feel incredibly powerful, empowered. I will link you a couple more videos on manifestation because I filmed quite a few, and also one on intention setting, because that is really the first step that we have to do when we want to manifest something. And those videos go way more in detail if you want to dive into that. Quattro, connecting with natural energies. Specifically working with natural energies and not against them. What do I mean by natural energies? Weather, time of the year, literally what happens in nature, plants, animals, seasons. We often make life much harder for ourselves because we do not see or value that we are literal beings, creations, creatures of nature, just like plants and animals are too. Just because we know how to work a computer does not necessarily mean that we are unfazed by literally the place we live and everything that's happening around us. We are no robots yet. But modern day life very much suggests otherwise. And that is, I believe, one of the reasons why so many people end up feeling burned out, tired, stressed, unhappy. We are not living very naturally. We are not following natural clues. Not when it comes to work environment, not how we raise our kids, not how we move our bodies, how much time we spend outside, how we eat, how we preserve or spend our energy, and specifically how we rest. It is not natural to be productive all of the time. It is not natural to spend most of our time inside in weird positions that our bodies are not made to actually do. It is not natural to eat stuff that is technically poison and, makes our body sense us all sorts of clues in terms of fatigue and aches and pains and, just bloating, discomfort, and so on. You might feel that during certain times in the year you feel different energy levels. So for me personally, in winter I'm very much inside, homebody. I want to rest. I go to bed much earlier. I don't feel so much outgoing energy. I just feel more tired. Then in summer, I'm usually like all outgoing, high energy. I can live on very little sleep. And in the transition time, so in spring and in autumn, that always feels like new beginnings for me. Like I get a surge of energy where I just feel like I want to do projects, I want to do new things. And for you that might differ a little bit, but you might also, if you think about it, feel that in a way if you're being mindful. And that is very natural because our bodies are obviously influenced by light, sunshine exposure, all that stuff. And to become aware of that can really open up a whole new way of caring for yourself, but also mapping out your life, mapping out your projects, or, you know, managing how you spend your energy on a daily basis. How do you get better at this skill? I would suggest spending a lot more time in nature, getting a journal and really writing down, even if it's only one line a day, how you feel that day and how nature is behaving at that time of year, and kind of like figure out your own natural rhythm with what's happening around you. You can also get wisdom by observing what is happening in nature, what the birds and bees are doing. I mean, can also do that if you like, but I mean, like, you know, like some animals hibernate in winter, others, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I don't have, you know. Now we get to a really important one, and that is master shadow work. Shadow work is a term that's flying around in the witchcraft scene, in self-development, spiritual circles, as well as maybe your therapist's office. We hear about it quite a lot, and for good reason, because it is so important. It is the most powerful tool to help you live closer to the version of your higher self and live more happy, in tune with what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Knowledge is power, and knowledge about yourself is probably the most powerful of them all. And a surprisingly big number of people seem to be completely blind to themselves. They have no idea why they think the way they think, why they feel the way they feel, why they act or react the way they do, why certain things trigger or challenge them, why they're afraid of certain things, why they judge other people on their life choices, or why they get so rattled by what other people do. And if you ask someone, they're usually able to give you a answer, but if you look at that answer, it's a lot of time very surface level. It doesn't go into the depth of it. It doesn't go into the whys and hows and what actually, you know, is living inside of them. And even if they wanted to change that, they don't have the tools to do so because they don't really know the underlying reason. It's not only shadow work, it's also reflection, but let's sum it up in one point. So what even is shadow work? It's basically getting down and dirty with your feelings, your thoughts and your beliefs, and then question everything. Asking yourself uncomfortable questions and being super honest to yourself. Break limiting beliefs to get to the root of triggered emotions or reactions, and work through the mess that lives in each and every one of us. Only if you do that, you can live free of darkness, bring your shadows to the light, include them in you, stop judging yourself for certain things, stop feeling shame for parts of yourself, and get rid of the things that hold you back in your daily interactions and your decision takings, in your dreams, visions, or life choices. Ways to do so? Well, luckily I again made a really in-depth video on shadow work that I will link you up here and down below, where you can work through different ways on how to do that. My personal favorites are for sure journaling, which just means answering certain pointed question on a paper, let it flow out without censoring yourself, or you could also work through that with a therapist if you had the option to do so. So if you feel like, hey, I want to open that Pandora's box of feel free to check it out, and I can promise you it is so worth it. Honestly, I feel every single person on this planet needs to do shadow work, and if everyone did, this place would be a much nicer place to live in. And also, it doesn't matter how much shadow work you have done, I can promise you there are still blind spots that you will have missed. It's a continuous work that we all have to do. Well, continuously. And it immediately leads me to another point that ties nicely into that, and that is practice and master mindfulness. What is mindfulness? It basically describes the quality or state of being aware and observant of something. And in that specific context, it means achieving a certain mental state that you do continuously without being prompted, ideally after you practice this for a very, very long time, that allows you to be aware of yourself in the present moment, of your feelings, of your thoughts, of your body, while calmly accepting what you feel, think, and so on. And that has a battery of benefits that really will make you feel super powerful in daily interactions, in your life, and in how you feel on a daily basis. First of all, how can you learn or practice mindfulness? Ideally, you would make it a daily practice where you just take a amount of time that can be 5 to 10 minutes where you focus on being observant. Start with small things like eating an apple over 5 minutes and just noticing every little taste in your mouth and the flavors and the texture and the thoughts that might pop in your head, the associations you have, and just looking at them in your head, looking at them without judging them, without commenting on them, but just seeing with your second thoughts what your first thoughts are thinking. Oh, I'm a Pratchett fans! Second step would be to do meditation. Sitting with your thoughts, putting your focus, for example, on your breath in and out, and then just noticing what is happening in your body and in your head. And even if your thoughts drift off, you're not supposed to judge that, but you're just noticing it and then mindfully bring it back to the thing that you are focusing on. Third step is to put it in action. For example, you go through a situation where someone really annoys you and you immediately want to get into this like fight or flight mode type of thing. But instead of doing that, if you practice mindfulness long enough, you can be able to, first of all, regulate your nervous system, tapping into the parasympathicus by taking deep breaths. So you signal your body, first of all, I'm not actual in physical danger. And then again, you observe what exactly just happened. How did that make me feel? What thoughts did that trigger? How did it make me feel physically? And then you can react from a much calmer space in your brain that's not so reactive and so explosive, and do that with grace and with your thoughts together. Don't have so many of those moments where you spontaneously react with something and then you kind of like regret it after that you said or didn't say something, for example. So mindfulness in the end is really also a way to control and have power over how you think, feel, and act. Can open doors to new behavior, make you miss last chances, and makes you happier and more content with how you carry yourself through life. And it also makes life so much more colorful and magical because you actually are aware, you pause in a moment and notice all the cool stuff that's going on around you that we oftentimes don't really realize when we just rush through life. It makes you also a more grateful person, and we all know that gratefulness is linked to happiness. Last but not least, find your authenticity. The romanticized narrative of the witch is often that they were people that lived outside of society's norms and standards. In a lot of stories, in a little romantic cottage in the woods brewing their potions and being a midwife. And while this historically is not correct, it still is kind of like the image that lives in our heads. But we're gonna run with that picture for a second because it really also shows us the difficulties of living authentically, because living your authentic truth, how you really want to live according to your values, to your likes, to your passions, to how you are as a person, like truly inside, can often clash with society's norms, expectations, ideas that you or other might hold about how the world or how you or your life should be. So sometimes it means like going a path less trodden, but mainly it means finding the things that really make you you, that make you fulfilled, that make you happy, and then live exactly like that. That can be in your home life, in your family life, in what you want to achieve or not achieve in life, in the decisions you make regarding your career, in regards to your friendships and partners, your hobbies, and also how you share yourself openly with other people in a way that is not masked, in a way that is not tailored to someone else's flavor or expectations of you. It's a well-known fact that people that just dare to live authentically, just be themselves and don't give a crap about what other people want or think, are the happiest people, because they can spend all their energy in living and creating the life they want. And I don't think there is anything more powerful than that. How to start tapping more into your authenticity is for sure sitting down and evaluating your life. Feel out where in your life, in which areas of your life you feel like you can truly be you, and what areas of your life you have to hide, you have to clip your own wings, you have to dim your shine, you have to act in a way that is completely not in tune with your values, your morals, your ethics, whatever it might be, your idea of how one should live life, and then make your decisions according to that. Alright, I hope this gave you some inspiration, ideas, maybe some stuff to try out even just now. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Believe in yourself, love yourself, reflect, do your shadow work, and be the awesome person that you are. I should go and water that poor plant now that has been crying for a drink of water for like a week now. I think I'm a pretty great mom, just not such a great plant mom. Goodbye!